All right, welcome guys. I'm here with Bill and Darla. You've probably met Bill and Darla in a previous video. They were my managers at the Christmas tree lot job the last 2 years, so that's probably where you've met them before. We did do a sit-down video like this, kind of talking about, I think we were just kind of interviewing you, talking about how you get started. So we'll leave, I'm going to leave a link to that video at the end of this one if you want to learn just a little bit more about how we started. And so I've known you guys for a little bit. We've worked together, and I think the aim of this video in my head was just to kind of talk about the differences of RV life versus van life. And you know, as we've been discussing, it seems like it really just comes down to a personal thing. And you guys want to say hi?
Hi.
Yeah, well, hi, and for our viewers, this is AdventureVanMan. He's the one that pushed Darla and I off the cliff and got us starting this in this world of YouTube.
In the YouTube world, yeah.
No pressure there. Just now, all you got to do is make videos. So
Right.
Here we are. We're trying.
Yeah. So anyway, did get some feedback from my viewers. I mentioned that we're thinking about doing a video like this, and you know, I made some notes here, and as I was thinking things over, it really became apparent to me how really it just comes down to the person and the person's, you know, if it's a couple, and what you're going for with this lifestyle. A lot of people just use the general term of, you know, we're going to hit the road. But what does hitting the road mean to you? Like if you're, you know, retired and you have a good pension or Social Security and that's enough for you to travel and enjoy life, or say you're keeping your house and renting it out and you've got plenty of income, that to me leads to the life of leisure and just being able to go where you please, stay where you want. But we all come from different backgrounds. Me, I'm in my early 40s, so I'm not done working. I have no retirement. But you guys have, you know, you've been through a lot in your lifetimes. From what I've got to know, you guys, your past is in no way boring. You've got, to me, a very interesting, you've tried a lot of different things. For the most part, been self-employed.
Yeah.
You've had your own businesses,
Yeah.
owned houses. You had your first house when you were quite young. So how much of that do you think played into what you're having to do on the road? You still have to take seasonal jobs and...
Well, our YouTube channel is Economic Refugees, and we named it that because basically that's what happened. We had a motorcycle shop for 22 years, and towards the end it just kept getting tougher and tougher. Of course, it was in California, so they're known for destroying business in California. So we just decided we had enough. We were going to try something different. We'd work for corporate America, travel around the country. That's one of the secrets, I think, that if people are going to get into this world, you kind of got to have a plan.
Yeah.
You know, you have to think ahead. We already know where we're going to be all the way through summer. We know where we're going to be all the way up until Christmas.
Right.
So that's how we set things up. We take a lot of time off, but we spend a lot of time working too. And you have to plan for life. You have to plan, just like if you're living in a house and you have a job and you plan for your vacations, you plan for, you know, whatever you're going to do. It's the same thing in this. The difference is that you just live everywhere.
Right.
And you know, same thing for you. You're a traveling man. You do kind of a different thing, but you've got your year set up for you pretty much all the way through till almost Christmas time for you. So anybody that just buys a vehicle and gets in the driver's seat and has no idea what they're going to do, they're probably making a big mistake. You should have, like you said, have the money stored and have a plan. And if there's places you want to see, start seeing them. But you realize pretty quick that when the wheels are turning, the money's coming out of your pocket. It starts coming out pretty quickly. So, especially with something like this, there's always things that need servicing or repair and stuff like that. You found out.
Brian's.
Yeah. You know, there's no end to it. And I always say, though, you give me a house with a steering wheel, I'm a pretty happy guy.
Nice.
You know, and I don't usually get too frustrated over working on stuff. You know, we had some special events go on this week, but you know, it's perseverance. You know, you got to push through it, and that's the fun part.
It's always exciting.
We've
right?
got-
never a dull moment.
Never.
I've gotten much better about keeping my head cool.
Yeah.
You know, my temper, my temper pretty much, it used to, like we discussed before, anytime anything went wrong with the motorhome, it was always her fault. And she always took the brunt of it, and I don't do that anymore. I learned, you know. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, you guys
But
are in this together.
we used to always fight about money. We don't fight about that so much anymore.
It's good.
But really, you know, your worries are pretty relative to if you're in a house, your problems and the money you're going to spend on that kind of thing is a lot bigger than if you're in something like this.
Right.
And especially when you have someone like him that can fix stuff.
Yeah.
So
That
it
definitely
costs
helps.
less, but I mean, you're not making as much as you did when you were at your, at your business.
Right.
If you had a business or if you were at your job and you had your job. So
A big thing in this world, and you know, I mean, you play the same game as we do, is if you leave home with $2,000 a month worth of debt,
Right.
you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about it, because even working, you're not going to be able to do what you got to do and pay a $2,000 a month bill, you know, unless you have, you know, some kind of a tech company
Right.
sending you $100 grand a month. or
So on that note, we're just discussing this. Like for me, I had a business. I had a landscape maintenance business. I did that for 10 years. I feel I was very successful. I was making good money, never had a problem with not having enough work. But it just got me to a point to where I just wasn't happy. I wasn't doing things I wanted to do. And money, I realized money wasn't buying me happiness. But to make the transition, I just didn't buy a van, move into it, and hit the road. I bought that van. I did a lot of planning before I even got the van. And once I got the van and moved into it, I spent 1 year, I was trying to figure that out. I think a full year and 9 months, a little over a year and a half before I hit the road. And that whole year and a half, I was working as close to full-time as I could at the job I had. And I wasn't paying rent because I was sleeping in the van, and it was stressful. For me, living in a van in the city was not ideal. That was not the end goal at all. That was what I knew was going to get me started, because I could work as much as I could and not pay rent, which allowed me to put money into the bank, which I could never do before. I could just never get ahead. And then towards the end, the last 3 months, I took a second job. I was working from 5 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. at one job. I'd get a little rest, and then I worked a night job. I did that for a good 2 months of the last 2 months before I hit the road, and that pushed me over the top. That gave me enough for savings. Like you said, I lined up the sugar beet harvest. I lined up Amazon.com after that. So right off the bat, I knew how much money I could make from those 2 jobs. And then come the following year, I'd figure out, and it kind of seems like I've been in a routine. I'm trying to branch out and do some new stuff, but I just didn't throw caution to the wind and just hit the road. I had a plan and I had a savings, and for me, I chose the van because I have owned RVs before. I've owned a Class C, a smaller Class C, and for me that was, I had a lot of troubles with my Class C. It was one thing after another. Of course, for me to afford one, I had to buy an older one, so every appliance in it went out on me, and I realized that at that point in my life, I wasn't responsible enough. I wasn't financially responsible enough to maintain a full RV. So part of my goals in getting into this lifestyle, for the first time in my life, I wanted to achieve financial freedom, which meant I had more money coming in than going out. And I've achieved that. I've actually gotten to a point for the first time in my life, it took me to my early 40s to finally get to a point that I've got more money coming in than going out. I'm able to clear up debts. And that, for me, has given me the peace of mind. And I use this term loosely a lot in my videos, and I think people just kind of ha-ha and overlook it. But I'm out here figuring out what the hell to do with my life.
Yeah.
Like, in my early 40s, I'm trying to figure out what the hell I really want to do to be happy in life.
Well, don't you find one thing that's really good is that you always have the option with these jobs, if you're not happy,
Right.
you can move on and try something, because for people that want to work, there's tons of jobs out here.
Yep.
There's tons of
There's
jobs.
no shortage.
But you have to be willing to work.
Yeah.
You know, if you go and you think you're just going to stand around and collect a check, it's just, that's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
They want to see results. And people like us that are always willing to get out there and bust our tail feathers, you know, we get called back to every job.
Yep.
You know.
And the other thing you said about, having your nest egg and stuff, you do need that because you bought an older van.
Yeah.
Just like we do.
Yeah.
We have an older RV, so things are going to go wrong. They're going to go wrong on a new thing too, but,
The difference is when you have a new one, you have a
payment
warranty
usually.
and you have a payment. With an old one, you don't have a warranty, but you don't have a payment usually. So it just depends, we can work on your van. We can work on this. I mean, they're not that difficult. The new stuff, I mean, everything, the light bulbs have computers in it. It's just crazy. You can't change a light bulb without being a tech,
Well, and honestly, YouTube is invaluable for teaching you how to do things on older things.
It really is. And
like transmissions.
yeah.
Well, a lot of this, like I said, me being out here trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life, it's also about a lot of personal goals of being self-confident, believing that I can do a lot of things that I've convinced myself previously that I couldn't do. And that for me that's huge. That's huge. Overcoming those fears, and I'm just not out here being reckless and crazy. Although I will say that it does take a little bit of being a little crazy. I think that's a commonality we all have.
Some of us a little crazier than others.
But that's a good thing. And, for me, being able to face those fears and say, yeah, and like when it comes to working on vehicles, I've always had an attitude, I think mechanics and all that, they kind of get put up on this. They're people just like us. They've just happened to devote some time to learning how to do things. They're going to... qualified mechanic that you pay is going to come upon a problem that he can't quite get the first time. We just don't get to see that because they're in the shop behind closed doors, but they're people just like us.
And the advantage is when we make mistakes, it doesn't cost us near as much.
$120 an hour.
Taking it to somebody and having them make mistakes because they're going to keep charging until they figure it out.
So you're paying them to learn.
Right, exactly. Where I could be learning.
There was a lady on your thing that said that she had paid $1,100 to have U-joints changed.
U-joints, right? That's crazy.
You're in at what, $50? So that's good. And helping people. That's what this lifestyle is all about. That's what we're out here for. If we're not willing to help other people, then we shouldn't be expecting people to help us.
Right. So on that note, with I did some pre-planning. I figured out that a van would be best for me with my financial position, where I was at in life. I'm just the type of person where I'm willing to sacrifice a lot of luxuries because I feel like I'm going to put in my life where there's some luxuries that they're really not going to help me with my core goals. I'm just not at a point where having a hot shower and something that I can fully stand up in, that's not going to really help me with my core goals. You guys are on a kind of a different place in life. That you're older than me, and
so we have to be able to stand up as tall as we can
right,
while we're still tall.
And that's a luxury that you
we
guys
are getting shorter.
We are.
And you decided that was something that you for sure needed before you in your planning stage.
Yeah.
That was part of we're going to do this, and you took all that. How long did you spend before you hit the road from buying the RV to?
Well, we spent probably 4 months looking for RVs, and then we bought the RV, and I think it was
March or April.
About 8 months before we left after we had the RV, and we still had our house. We could have always gone back to it, but I think that the main thing for us is we really. I mean, moving into an RV is a downgrade from owning a house. There's no doubt about it. But that's only in some ways. Like the big advantage, I mean, we get to see the world. I mean, well, not the world, but the country. We wake up, we pull into places in the middle of the night. We wake up in the morning and open the curtains and, wow, check out where we're at. You don't have that. We had a pretty nice view from our house. But after a while, a view doesn't mean anything. Because you're just used to always looking at it. You don't even notice it's there anymore. So, the old get up in the morning, smell the coffee, and check out where you're at. That's pretty much what we do.
And the other thing too is now that we have 3 kids and they're like scattered to the wind, so we have wheels under our house and we can keep going from place to place to place to visit them.
Bootstocking.
Right. So you're probably seeing your family more now that you're on the road than you did.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Well, not when they were little. We saw them almost every day.
You're stuck with them.
I wish
But yeah, I
stuff
mean,
like that again.
and then we also adopt kids along the way, huh, Brian?
Right, it's true. It's true. You guys.
We have a lot of people that you know, I think wisdom comes by accepting other people. I learned a lot of stuff from a lot of people in my life, and I mean, I could name names, and the thing was is I've always, since I was a young man, because I grew up without a dad, I've always been willing to accept if anytime a man is a mentor to me that knows more than I do, and I give him kudos.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the guy who taught me how to work on motorcycles was an amazing guy. I mean, he really knew his stuff, and I mean, I could not get enough of what he knew in my head. And the day that he came to me and said, "Man, you've been my best student," I mean, that was quite a big deal to me. I mean, to me that was like, cool.
Yeah.
That means I've arrived. And you know, in this world, there's so many new people coming in, and it's exciting to see the new people come in. It's like everything else. So you know, not everybody is going to succeed, and not everybody is going to
Fail.
you know, fail either. I mean, it's going to be just like life,
Right.
and you got to know that if there's somebody out there that you can learn something from, like we had Uncle Jerry and Aunt Nancy, and they had been on the road since, I mean, 18 years or something,
Wow.
and man, the information they had, I mean, they were out there with they didn't have internet, they didn't have satellite TV, they didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
And they used to talk about how, you know, they wanted to talk to their kids. They had to find a payphone, and you know, that was a whole different world. Now, man,
It's pretty cush. It's
this
pretty
is
cush
the
these
best time.
days.
You could be in a van. You
Yeah.
have internet. You
Yeah.
have your phone. You
Agreed.
you can watch TV. You
Yeah.
can do whatever you want in your van. So, I mean, people live in their cars and have TVs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's amazing the way the world is going. The bad thing about it is the government can track everywhere you go. You know, so.
Right. Well, let's see. What else can we talk about here? You know, a lot of what I mentioned is, you know, an idea for this video was kind of the contrast between RV and van, but really, there's not much to talk about with that. It comes down to some extra luxuries and some expenses that go with those luxuries. Usually when you have a luxury, it costs. That's why it's a luxury.
And what your goals are.
And what your
Because, I mean,
goals.
you know, you're
Yeah.
trying to
It's like
still
living in an apartment
cut
or living in
expenses.
a house.
Yeah.
It's kind of that
Yeah.
type of situation.
And I've never owned a home. I've always rented. And honestly, I don't think I've ever been in one place more than a couple years. All right, so where were we at here? Anything you want to talk about, Darla?
I have
You've got some
questions
stuff for her?
So,
Yeah.
so first of all, one of the toughest things for a wife and a mother is to leave her children. And when we first took off on this thing, of course, all our kids were married and they had moved out, and we decided to do this. In the long run, I think we figured out why. I think it's been a blessing that we did that. But why don't you tell us how you felt? I mean, and explain maybe a little bit to some people here.
You really want the truth?
I do.
Yeah,
I
let's
know.
hear the
You-
truth.
Here you go. Let me put my fingers in my ears.
I hated it. I cried. I cried a lot because I missed my kids.
Yeah.
I had no other purpose in life other than to just be a mom. You know, that was me. And I feel that way still, but you know, we talk on the phone a lot. Skype is an amazing thing.
It is awesome.
And I see my grandbabies all the time, and I get to see them doing their goofy things and, you know, showing off for me on Skype, and we get to see them because we do, like I said, have wheels under our house now. When they were all in California and we were only going back once a year, that was hard. Now we've got them all over the place, so we can go visit this one, then we can go visit that one, then we can go visit this one. And then my mom, that's a hard one too, because she's 81 and she's 81, you know? So, those things I miss. I make the best of it because I do like seeing the beauty, and it's really pretty. You know, we meet lots of nice people, and we have adopted children, you know?
And you guys still seem to get along pretty well.
We hide it well.
We love it.
We do.
We love each other a lot.
We
We've
do.
been married 36 years, working on 37. So, and yeah, she's the luckiest girl in the world. I mean, she got me. You know?
I know, almost, maybe another 37 years I'll believe that.
I think it's vice versa, but no, you guys.
Hey, wait a minute.
I spend a lot. It's funny on the road. I've just always been this way. I am an introvert. I'm kind of a loner. I've been that way since I was a kid. I have a lot of social anxiety. It's hard for me to be in groups of more than 4. Is pretty much the number where it starts to get weird for me. It's just I've just always been that way. I interact weird on a social level, and I've found over the years that I'm most comfortable, and even being one-on-one with someone can be a little awkward, but I'm very comfortable with couples for some reason, and that's something I've learned about myself. And I think the couples I get along with best are couples that get along with each other. You know, if you've been around a couple that's fighting all the time, it's awkward, it sucks, it's not fun.
Yeah, you hate it when mom and dad fight.
Right.
Huh?
Right. So, you know, when I'm around you guys, I have a very calm, peaceful feeling, and that's probably because it reminds me of my own parents, which I have a very good relationship with my parents. I'm very blessed. They've been married for over 40 years, and they have always treated me with unconditional love. All the crazy ideas I've had, the different things I've done, they've supported it. They've never made me feel stupid about it or that's a dumb idea. Even with the van thing, they're like, wow, that sounds actually exciting. They know that anything I've ever tried, and this is not being arrogant, anything I've ever tried, I felt like I always give it my best and have succeeded at some level. And to be able to come out here and meet people like you, and I'm going to touch on this because I get a lot of this in the comment section of my videos with people that are like, straight up, you need to be in an RV. You need to get rid of that van and you need to be in an RV. And I feel like they're giving me that information because they're speaking for themselves.
And projecting.
They're projecting, and
Yeah.
they see that they could never make it. And I know Bill has done that with me. When we're working together,
I'm just teasing.
he's sending me emails of these little Class A's, and man, you need to get into one of these. And I know you're giving me a hard time, but I know that you're also pretty genuine. Like, there are some really neat, those safari treks, that's a neat little rig. But I think I've got at least a good 10 years in me in the van before I even think about something like that. And honestly, being solo, single, no pets, no partner, that's another reason why it's easy to stay in the van. So, if my life progresses and I have someone out here with me, it's very possible I'm going to be calling you up and talking about let's hunt down an RV for me. But
Or we could just put a 100-gallon water tank in your van.
load it down even more. But what's your take? You've seen me. You've seen what I had to do at the Christmas tree lot. You guys are showering in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah.
I'm out there showering.
But you made it work.
I did. I made it work.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm in that phase of my life where I'm
And
willing.
if you're that kind of person,
Like
that's
you said,
perfect
it's a
for
little
you.
funny coming out of your tent. There's a family looking
Right.
at
I got
trees.
the towel around me, like sneaking in my van. But you know what? It didn't cause me losing the job or anything. And I'm still at that phase. For me, I grew up camping. The term roughing it is definitely. There's times I got a shower set up. If I'm somewhere out in the public land, I can shower every night if I want. But the times I go into town or I'm in this RV park, I don't necessarily want to shower in front of all the neighbors. So,
Well, that we used to do 5,000-mile trips every summer
on your
on our
motorcycle,
motorcycle.
And that's what taught me. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah, we had a tent, and people were amazed.
Right.
We were talking yesterday how we would unload this trailer and we'd get all set up. People would come over and go, man, I can't believe you have all that stuff in that trailer. And then they always wanted to watch us put it all back in there.
Right.
But we stayed mostly KOAs because we knew that they would let you tent camp, and they had showers and toilets. And when we decided that we were going to do this, we wanted wheel estate. We didn't want to be in a van or a small, like a Class B.
Well,
van.
you had the truck camper, and that
We had a truck camper.
We did that for a while.
And that was great for 3-4 days. We loved to go to the beach. We loved to do stuff like that. But it wasn't, at the end of 3 or 4 days, you could come home, and we had a great big huge shower with 2 heads and the whole thing. And we'd walk, go in there and go, oh, this is so nice. Our shower's not huge in this, but it's nice.
Right.
I mean, you took a shower here.
Yeah,
see? So.
it's nice.
Anyway, I mean, this is it's not the best, but it's not too bad.
It's
pretty
the
darn
best
nice.
for us.
Pretty darn
I mean,
nice.
the thing is you could spend a ton of money and get the ultimate RV, but then you have a hard time buying fuel for it. So we got what works for us, and just like you have, you can never condemn anybody for doing what they want to do.
Right.
I mean, if you know, like you say, I say to you safaris and stuff, but I think that's more just kind of egging you on a little bit as opposed to trying to be a stinker about it.
Right. All right, so I guess, you know, I'm sure there will always be some questions that we didn't cover, but I don't know. I think it is good to just kind of sit down and let people hear a conversation of people that are doing this full time. And of course, if anyone does have any other questions on stuff we didn't hit on, you know, in my head, I was thinking there would be more to talk about between the differences of being in an abandoned RV, but we do the same jobs. You're a foreman at the beet harvest. You're on your what? Going to be your 8th year at the harvest, and I'm pretty much signed up again. I told myself last year. Every year I tell myself I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but he's going to be working with us.
But I'm going to be on Bill's crew, so it'll be a new yard, new foreman, new experience. But
where there's actually a town,
yeah, exactly,
a nice
shopping,
town, a
yeah.
city.
But we're pretty much doing the same thing as far as the jobs, and it's working for me. Of course, like you said, I'm at the Christmas tree lot. I had to shower out in a shower tent, which was a little awkward, but it worked. And having you as a manager, you didn't, you know, fire me or call the supervisor because of it. So I had that going for me. But overall, I think the only real difference is where we're parking our homes.
Yeah, you are more nature.
And that's my choice, because I feel like I had mentioned before, this point in my life where environment is important to me. I'm one of these sensitive, there's all this stuff going around around me, especially in the city. I feel that energy, and it just takes me out of my zone. And this is great that I've actually learned this about myself. So I put myself out in nature, kind of secluded, and that allows me to just get in a good mindset and really focus. I'm doing a lot of self-improvement in my life. You know, I come from a crazy, crazy past, a lot of partying, and that's something that I've cut out of my life, and it's really allowing me to be focused.
Is that okay?
And so that's all stuff that goes into my whole experience. You guys, you're a little bit past that. You're, you know.
Well, you're AdventureVanMan, and we're like do-nothing motorhome people. So
you guys are staying primarily in RV parks. Do you use any type of membership deals to get discounts, or mean, for the most part, your longest stays?
Well, we're leaving. We're going to leave this weekend. Yeah, we're headed to Arkansas, and we'll stay at Flying J's, Walmart's, abandoned buildings.
That is one thing. When we are going from point A to point B, I don't like spending money on campgrounds.
So you just do Walmart's
we just
in
try to
travel,
dock
and then you have a destination set where you're going to be for a little bit. So
and
please,
we'll fill up and dump at a Flying J.
Yeah.
You know,
please, if you
really
stay at a Walmart, please have respect.
Right.
Okay.
You know, it's getting harder and harder to be able to go to the Walmarts because people are doing some things that they shouldn't be doing. And
they're putting their slides out, their landing gear down, their lawn chairs out, their barbecue out. You know,
they're draining their gray water in the parking lot. I mean, you can't do stuff like that. It's basically a place you come in the evening, get up in the morning and roll.
Right.
I mean, that's what we do. We never stay a day. We never do any of that. Boy, that light is just getting
That's
you.
all right.
Anyway, there's a lot to this RV world that, especially with more and more people coming on board, we need to be more respectful of one another.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, it's going to hurt everybody,
It's true.
including them.
Yeah.
And but we welcome more on.
Right.
I mean, the more the merrier. And there's, like I say, there's a ton of jobs out there. YouTube world seems to be really growing. A lot more people on that. I want to thank Brian for all the help that he's given us.
Yeah, you guys are doing a good job.
We,
it gets easier as you go.
We had no clue when we first started. And then finally she's like, "Are you ever going to make a video?" And I just sat down and made number one. It was like a test video. And I said, I think we can do this now. So we're going to start. We're going to do a series on motorhomes.
Nice.
On what to look for motorhomes. And of course we're going to be leaving, so we're going to do kind of an adventure motorhome bill, I guess, thing for a week or so while we do some driving. We're going to go look at our new puppy.
Nice.
Which they were born.
That's awesome.
Yesterday. So, yeah, we got a lot of excitement coming ahead of us.
And later today, they're going to fix Brian's van up
Yeah.
some more.
Yep.
I think Brian's going to do most of the
Should
work.
be able, yeah. I think you're just gonna have to let me use your drill, and
I thought you said you had a drill.
I do. I should dig it out.
Just wanted to get
So, as far as like you're keeping your costs down on not having to, stay at an RV park everywhere you go, your longest stays in this thing are usually at a seasonal job, where
which usually we don't have to pay for the space.
right, or it's discounted. Yeah,
Well, we're gonna go stay at my brother's.
right.
This is calf feed season. He's got a big ranch, and he's got a lot of cows, and all the cows are calving right now. So, excuse me.
Bless you.
So we're going to be going there, and we have a spot where overlook the pasture where the horses are at.
It's the
We have
most
full
beautiful
hookups.
campground we've ever stayed
It
at.
is.
Nice.
My brother doesn't charge us anything to stay there.
And then from there, you go to your next
We go to
campground.
well, we're going to go visit our oldest daughter, and we'll be staying there for about a week, and then we're going to Wisconsin.
where you have a space at a job.
I got a beautiful space and a beautiful
Until Sugar
place.
Beets.
And then beets, and
Where
then
we also
Christmas
have a
tree,
space
and
and a job.
Yeah.
And,
And
Christmas
then next year we're gonna. I don't think we're doing baseball. She keeps bugging me about wanting to, but I keep telling her no.
ah, you just love that job.
Liar. Liar.
All right, well, we could talk all day, so we'll probably wrap it up there. Please, any questions you have, me and Bill are probably going to post. We may edit a little bit differently, but we're pretty much going to post this video on each of our channels. I'll leave a link for their channel if you're not already subscribed to it. It's Economic Refugees. And, I believe that Bill has a lot to offer, and the more he gets comfortable on camera, you really get to know he has a great personality, a lot of knowledge and wisdom to offer. Same with Darla. You guys are a real special couple, and I think you can inspire and help a lot of people by just sharing what you're doing. And for me, that's what this is still about. I know this YouTube thing is getting really aggressive. There's a lot of people in it for the money, but I will and will continue to make videos to inspire people and just be a reminder and an example that there are choices in life. You don't have to do the normal 9 to 5, buy a house, white picket fence.
American dream.
There is a new American dream, and that's what I'm chasing. So
We have homes.
yeah,
They're
we do.
just on wheels.
Yeah.
That's the only
And
difference.
for our channel, just subscribe over at AdventureVanMan Brian.
Yeah, well, there's probably like 4 people that watch our channel that are subscribed to you. So
Well, thanks guys. I appreciate you taking the time. And again, leave any questions. And wish everyone the best. Thanks for watching. Peace.